إذا الأمجاد قد عظمت فللأمجاد بانيها ومن يسعى إلى العليا سيدركها بما فيها ويبني مجده جذلا فروح الفذ يعليها ليصبح همة تروي عن العليا مغانيها.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another exciting episode of the ITV Math Show with me, your host and presenter, Mohammed Kota. Right, we ended up on our last program. Remember, we're shooting these back to back, so don't ask me, but sir, you wore the same shirt in the same program. We're shooting back to back, guys. Not that I didn't bath. Let's get started. Right, solve for X and Y. We started off here with this question here, and this is where we said that we ended off our last topic. We ended off here at this point. Remember, we made a mistake in the last one. We had to go back because that final trinomial equation didn't look very kosher, didn't look very halal. It wasn't approved. So let's go back and let's see now whether we can sort this trinomial out, and let's see whether it works out as a perfect trinomial. So 2 times 1 is 2 minus 12y plus 18y squared plus 2y minus 6y squared minus 12 plus 36y plus 12y, oh my goodness, this thing just doesn't seem to end, is equal to 0. So there we go, we just removed all the brackets, and now we are about to collect all our like terms, and God willing, inshallah, we're going to get the right answer now, and we're going to get the perfect trinomial. Okay, remember, we're preparing today's episode and all the episodes that are now going to be for the rest of the episodes for 2015 to prepare the 2015 learners, grade 11s and 12s for their final exams, which they're writing this week and next week. Remember, our grade 11s are also writing a national paper. Right? We're writing a national paper, grade 11s. So the next component that we're going to do after quadratics is functions. We're going to do all the different types of functions. So stay tuned to the program. Right, let's start. 18y squared minus 6y squared. 18 minus 6 is 12. 12y squared minus 4y squared is 8y squared. Minus 12y plus 2y is minus 10y. Minus 10 plus 36 is 26y. 26y plus another 12y will give me 26 plus 12, 38y. Plus 38y. Let us have a look. 2 minus 12 is minus 10 is equal to 0. Okay, I'm going to be moving over here to the side. Remember, this question is far from over. Right, we now have moving over here to the side, so if Mr. Cameraman can just focus on this side, we got 8y squared plus 38y. I'm just copying and pasting. Minus 10 is equal to 0. Let's divide everything by 2. We're going to have 4y squared plus 19y minus 5 is equal to 0. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. Why? That's a perfect trinomial. 5 and 4 will give me a 20 and I'll get a 19. So we know we're right. The minute you get a perfect trinomial, I don't need to go back. I know that my calculations here were all correct. So now, what are your factors? What are your factors? Your factors is 4y and y, 1 and 5. Right? 4y times y will give me 4y squared. 1 times 5 will give me a 5. 1y and a 20y will give me 19. But I need plus 19. So that will get a plus, that will get a minus. Let's double check. 4y times y, 4y squared. Minus 1 times plus 5 will give me minus 5. Minus 1y plus 20y gives me my plus 19y. So I don't think I'm right. I know I'm right. Okay, so now let's go. We go 4y minus 1 equals 0, or y plus 5 equals 0. Solve for y. 4y is equal to 1. Y is equal to 1 over 4. Or y is equal to minus 5. We've now solved for y. We still need to solve for x. We haven't yet solved for x. So now let's start solving for x, guys. So now we're going to say substitute a quarter. That's my first solution. A quarter for y in equation number, I think, let's do it in equation number 3. It's the easier one in terms of x. in equation number 3. Or we can say, we go down here, we say substitute. What's my other y value? 5, minus 5. Substitute negative 5 for y in equation number 3. So now, what does equation 3 look like? X is equal to 1 minus 3y over 2. X is equal to 1 minus 3y over 2. We've got y now, a quarter. X is equal to 1 minus 3 into a quarter over 2. Or x is equal to 1 minus 3 into minus 5 over 2. X is equal to 1 minus 3/4 over 2. X is equal to 4 over 4. Now this you can do on your calculator. A quarter divided, so your answer here is 1 over 8. Check it on your calculator. Or x is equal to 1 plus 15 over 2. X is equal to 1 plus 15 is 16. 16 over 2 is 8. There we go, guys. We've solved for x and we've solved for y. Yes, it's a big problem. Yes, it might take an entire page for you to answer it, but you've got to do it. Is there a shortcut to this? Unfortunately, no. You've got to do every single step, step by step. Make sure you write your fractions over 2 lines. Don't cramp your work. Space it out neatly. Make sure you follow SAN, speed, work fast, A, accuracy in your algebra. So make sure that you're accurate in your algebra. You saw what happened when we weren't accurate, right? We were out by one value. We forgot to multiply the one of the values by 2. And neatness, make sure, okay, not the very best, but I'm sure you've got a much better handwriting than me. But in any case, we know we write because we've got 2 y solutions, 2 exact x solutions. Our trinomial here, our checkpoint is our trinomial. Our trinomial must be perfect. If we've got a perfect trinomial, we know we write. That means all our calculations before this was all perfectly correct. Okay, guys, that brings us, we did one easy example, one difficult example. This is the most difficult one that you could possibly see, or most intricate or complicated problem that you could see. But nothing in math is difficult. Everything is a challenge. There's no such word as a problem. Solve the following challenge, not solve the following. The minute you get the word problem out of your head, there's no such thing as problem, because every problem has a solution. The minute you say I have a problem, it means no solution. So every problem, every situation has got a solution. So take the word problem out of your mind. Okay. We're now going on to functions. So now, take out your books. Students, take out your books. Open up now your new page. Start on functions. Put the heading functions. We're now going to go into the functions and the graphs. Another word for functions. Oh my word, what just happened here on the... And this looks horrible. Okay, let's get that out of here. Let's clear the board. Let's clear the screen. And now we're going on to functions. And guys, this is grade 11 and 12. Remember grade 12s, you write on grade 11 functions too. So it's exactly the same thing. The only component that's added. So if I put the topic functions, the only component that's added to grade 12 is the inverse function. And we all know the rule for the inverse function by now. It's already end of the year, guys. The rule for the function, swap the x and y, make y the subject of the formula. So now we're going into, let's take the question that came out of the IEB paper, right? The IEB paper, I'm not going in order, so I'm not going straight line, parabola, hyperbola with the shift, exponential with the shift, or the log. I'm just giving you a mixed example. I'm taking out one of the graphs, throwing it on the board, asking you questions with 10 marks. Let's see whether we can get our solutions. Okay, so the diagram looks like this. If Mr. Cameraman can just get this diagram in for us. We've got that. We've got a graph that looks like this. What do you think, grade 12s? By you looking at the graph already, you know what type of a function is this? What type? Is this exponential, log, parabola? What type of a graph is it? Yes, you're right. This is a log function. So this is B. And we've got a point on here, A, 9, and 2. And I give you the point B, X, and Y. That's your x-axis. That is your y-axis. Okay, the first question, they say the function f of x, they tell us f of x, and this is graph f. This is what's given, is equal to log ax with point A, 9, and 2 on the graph. Question number 1. So let's do the questions here. exam questions, guys. This is final exam question. Boom. Question number 1, find the value of A. Find the value of A. Number 2, write down the equation of the inverse in the form y equals. Write the equation of the inverse of f, right? Or they say the inverse f of minus 1 in the form y equals dot 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 dot. Number 3, write down the range of f of minus 1. Write the range of f of minus 1. And there we go. These are the questions. Okay, find the value of A. Now the first one, it's worth 3 marks, 2 marks, 2 marks. 3 and 2 is 5 and 2 7. It's 7 marks in total here, guys. Okay, can we just get a time factor here? How many minutes do we have here? Are we good to go? We've got 3 minutes to go. Take down this diagram, guys. Take it down. Y-axis, x-axis, grade 12. This one is grade 12 only. Grade 11s will not be doing the log function. Take down these questions, right? We're cutting for an ad break. Let's see within this 3 minutes. It shouldn't take you more than 3 minutes to be able to answer these 3 questions. Now, like I said in all our previous shows, if you still don't know the methodologies, if you have purchased our DVDs, go to your DVD and go through the topic. If not, go onto the itvnetworks.tv, click onto the ITV Math Show and go through all these topics. Do some revision because these are all the processes. Okay, so you guys we're cutting for an ad break. You've got 3 minutes. When we get back from the ad break, let's see whether you can answer these 3 questions in 3 minutes. Okay, remember it's 7 marks. And what do I always say? You take your mark allocation and you divide it by 2. So if it's 7 marks, you've got 3.5 minutes in the exam. That's why, in that way, you will be able to finish a 150 mark exam or 300 mark exam in half the time. Right? Remember, the aim of the show is to prepare you to be able to finish the 3-hour paper in 1.5 hours, do the same paper twice in the exam using 2 different methods, and make sure that when you walk out of the paper, you don't say, I think I got a distinction. You say, I know I've got a distinction. Okay? So guys, enjoy the ad break. I'll see you back in 3 minutes time. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the ITV Math Show. Bumper episode. These episodes, guys, we're trying to cram in, we're trying to jam-pack these episodes with as many problems, exam type. I'm taking typical exam questions directly from past papers, blasting it to you on the screen, making sure that you understand it. We're working out the memos, and then for practice, I'll give you one that I will do for you, then I throw you into the deep end and I give you one of my own and we see how you fare with it. Okay, remember guys, this is no time to relax. This is no time to relax. We are 4 days away. 4 days away from the biggest math exam that you will ever write in your life. I understand the pressure is high. The pressure in studio also is high. We've got millions of viewers. We've got everybody phoning into studio. When are you doing exam prep? This is the show, guys. Let's get started. Right, so you had time during the break. Let's start with the answers. Mr. Cameraman, are we good to go? We are super. That's what I like to hear. Right, answer to question number 1. Find the value of A. Now, where is small a? Small a is there. So basically, they want the equation of the graph. So what do we have? Remember, we've got x and we've got y there. So this, our original looks like y equals log ax. We've got the point A, 9 and 2. That's x, that's y. Just plug it in. 2 is equal to log A. What is x? 9. Now, I don't know whether your teachers have shown you how to remove a log. I'm going to show you, excuse me, I'm going to show you a little trick. I'm trying to talk faster than we write. Okay, let's slow it down. Let's put a little bit of brakes. Breathe in. Woosah. Let's go. Right. Guys, are we cutting? No man, we're rolling. Let's roll. Right. That's the way we roll here in the K-Way studio, guys. This year, the electricity in this studio, it's crazy. It's phenomenal. Right. 2 is equal now. Like I said, let's go back. Let's retract. I don't know whether your teachers have shown you this, how to remove a log if it's given to you in an equation. So what I do, what we call the smiley face method. What is that? Mr. K, you always come up with some crazy things. The smiley face method. Now, why do we call it the smiley face method? Because all we do now, we say log A9 is equal to 2. I've just swapped the 2 around. We start from our base, right? Let's put the smiling face. There's the smiley face. There's this. Do you see it? Do you see? You see? There we go. And we put an arrow that way there. Okay, so what do? Smiley face method. So we say A to the power 2 is equal to, so now we're coming across, is equal to 9. So we got A squared is equal to 9 without the log. So to remove the log, we do what we call the smiley face method. A squared is equal to 9. A is equal to the square root of 9. A is equal to only positive 3. Why? You might say, but isn't the square root of 9 positive or negative 3? Yes, it is. But in a log, can we ever have log of a negative base? No, we can't. It's always log of a positive base. Therefore, it's only, A is only equal to the square root of 9, the positive value, the positive root of your constant. Okay, so A is equal to 3. What was the question? Find the value of A. A is equal to 3. Game over. We've answered question number 1 and we've got ourselves 3 to 4 marks. Okay? So y is equal to log ax, 2 is equal to log a9. We say log a9 is equal to 2. We use the smiley face method to remove the logs. Okay, so a squared is equal to 9, a is equal to 3. So now we know that the final equation here, it's no longer log ax, it's log 3x. Okay, that was the answer to question number 1. Let's now go and answer question number 2. Question number 2. Write the equation of the inverse in the form y equals. Now we know that x is equal to 3 to the y. That is your log graph. The inverse function would be y. What do we know about the inverse of a log graph? It's the exponential. So y is equal to a to the power x. So y is equal to 3 to the power x. Remember the inverse function, we swap the two. Y is equal to 3 to the power x. Write the equation of the inverse f of minus 1 in the form. So this is f of minus 1, the inverse function in the form y equals. Normally you would have just said f of minus 1 is equal to 3 to the x. They don't want you to put it in the form f of minus 1. They want it in the form y equals. So you go f of minus 1, y equals 3 to the power x. And that is the answer for question number 2, and you will get 2 marks for that. Write down the range of f of minus 1. Now the inverse function, let's just draw the range of it, right? Let's add on one more question. Give the coordinates of b. Give the coordinates of b. Right, I'm just adding one more question. A very popular question that could be added in this topic. So now let's answer question number 3. Write down the range. Now we know range refers to our y values, range of f of minus 1. So if this is f of x, f of minus 1 would look like that. That is the inverse, the exponential, right? Write down the, and what is the range of this graph here? Which y values will touch this graph or will give you corresponding? Which set of y values will give you corresponding x values on f of minus 1? Remember this is f. That's f of minus 1, the inverse function. So the answer to question number 3, the range is y greater than 0. Not equal to 0 because this line here, this is an asymptote. This graph will never touch this axis. So it's all your y values greater than 0. Y is an element of real numbers. Or you could write it in, some of you might ask, can I write it in brackets, in interval notation? Yes, you may. So if you had to write it in interval notation, how would you write it? From 0 to positive infinity. Infinity with an open bracket. 0 is not included, so we put an open bracket. If there was an equal to sign, it would have been a square bracket. So whether you put it like this or whether you put it like that, you would still get your full marks for the question. Okay? Give the coordinates of B. Now, B's coordinates, what do we know? If this was C, and let's say give the coordinates of C also, just so that you know if they had to ask you in the exam, give the coordinates of C. So let's put B's coordinates, number 4 and number 5. The answer to question number 4, the answer to question number 5. All log graphs have only one x-intercept. All exponential graphs have only one y-intercept. So we already know that this is 0 on my x, 1 on my y. So this, if this is the inverse, this must be 1 on my x, 0 on my y. So the coordinate, they won't ask you why. They will never ask you why, because they know you know why. Okay, so question number 4, B's answer is 1 and 0, because all log graphs have only one x-intercept, 1 and 0. All exponential graphs have only one y-intercept, 0 and 1. Because any base for the exponential graph, y equals a to the power x, whenever x is 0, any base to the power 0 is always 1. There we go. Whenever x is 0, so no matter what your base is, any base to the power 0 will always be 1. Whenever the base is 0, whenever x is 0, y is always 1. So whenever y is 0 in a log graph, your x value will always be 1. Okay, so there we go, guys. This is probably about 10 to 12 marks. It's marks you cannot afford to throw away. They might ask you, you might ask, okay, so Mr. K, what else might they, could they ask you on this graph? They might ask you, give the equations of the asymptotes of f and f of minus 1. Let's see. Let's add on more questions. Let's make it a little bit more in detail, right? Number 6. Now say they ask you the equations of the asymptotes of graph f and of graph f of minus 1. They want the equations of the asymptotes. So I'm going to be putting the answers here in red. So the equation of the asymptote. What is the word asymptote? The word asymptote means a line which your graph never touches. Remember in our previous episode, we said that the abbreviation for the word asymptote is ASS. And yeah, okay, I don't know, can we say this on national TV? Right, the equation of the abbreviation for the word asymptote is ASS. And we know that in life you cannot go around touching someone's ASS. So we know that in functions, the asymptote is a line which your graph never touches. So whenever you see asymptote, don't touch, stay away, back off. It's a line which your graph never ever touches. So which line does graph F never touch? Graph F never touches your y-axis. So the axis is your y-axis, but they want the equation. What is the equation of your y-axis? X equals 0. What is the equation now of f of minus 1? That's this graph. Which line will this graph never touch? Your x-axis. And what is the equation of our x-axis? Y equals 0. And there we go, guys. The equations of the asymptotes, x equals 0, y equals 0. You don't need to write y-axis and x-axis. This I'm just putting in so that you can understand how did we get x equals 0 and y equals 0. And that wraps up our log function, guys. And this one came in from the IEB paper, Prelim 2015. We're now going to go on to a parabola and a straight line, a combination graph. Right? We're going to do the inverse functions. There's a whole lot of questions on there. So I hope you've taken this down. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you got all the answers right. By this time of the year, you should be understanding exactly what is going on here in functions. Okay. Let's now put down another question. Also, this one comes out of the prelim exam. I'm drawing the graph here. We've got 3 minutes before we need to cut for an ad break. So let's put up the question. The diagram actually looks like that and like that. And we know that that is a parabola. That's your x-axis. That's your y-axis. This is graph F. And they've got a straight line going through there. This is graph G. This is point D. That's point C. We now have point A, O, B. Right. The figure below represents the sketch graphs of f and g. They give us the two equations. Graph f, f of x is equal to minus 2x squared minus 4x plus 30. That's the equation of f, our parabola. Right. And g of x is equal to 2x plus 10. Okay, let's put down. They say A and B are the x-intercepts. A and B are the x-intercepts of graph f. The graph of g passes through A. The graph of G passes through A, C is the point of intersection of F and G. The graph of G intersects the y-axis at D. So yes, whatever they give us has been already included on the diagram. Guys, we've only got 60 seconds before we cut for the ad break. Let's give you a question quickly. Let's put the questions here at the bottom. I'll just give you the first one to do. Question number 1. Find the coordinates of A and B. And that is worth 4 marks. Right, there we go. You've got 3 minutes, guys. You've got 3 minutes during, we're cutting now for an ad break. When we get back from the ad break, we'll continue further with all these equations. Hope you're enjoying the show. Stay tuned, guys. Boys and girls, welcome back to the ITV Math Show. Before we cut for an ad break, I gave you the question here, find the coordinates of A and B. Remember, we're preparing the grade 12 for the final examination. This is a jam-packed episode. We are just blasting you with questions, and let's see whether you can apply all the techniques that I've showed you over the past 2 months from the beginning of Ramadan. Okay, we're moving a bit fast, accelerated pace. This is exam time. We don't have time. Right, let's get started. We need to find the coordinates of A and B. So we need to find the coordinates of A, we need to find the coordinates of B. What is? You got to ask yourself in your mind, what is? So what is A, what is B? A and B are the two X-intercepts. Where do we get the X-intercepts? From which graph? Is it from graph G or is it from graph F? It's from graph F. So we look at graph F. Let's answer the question. I'm moving here to the side. Mr. Cameraman, follow me. I know I'm going to be jumping around from side to side here. So you need to be on the ball with me. Right, here's our answers. We're putting here question number 1, f of x. So now we've got f of x is equal to minus 2x squared minus 4x plus 30. How do I get my x-intercepts? Right, how do we get it? We say, let y equal to 0. Yes, you're right. Let y equal to 0. So let's start. Let y equal to 0. So if y, that's your y. F of x is y. That's your function. So if that is 0, what do I have? I've got minus 2x squared minus 4x plus 30 is equal to 0. At this point in time, I don't need to teach you how to factorize, boys and girls. Right, I'm now going to be moving a little bit fast. We're going to be dividing everything by negative 2. So I'm going to have x squared divide by negative 2 plus 2x minus 15 is equal to 0, right? Factorize that. X 5 3 plus minus x is equal to minus 5 or x is equal to positive 3. So we know that x is equal to minus 5, so this must be minus 5 and 0, or x is equal to plus 3, so b's coordinates must be 3 on my x, 0 on my y. So A and B's, so let's put and they ask you, so A's coordinates, negative 5 and 0, B's coordinates, 3 and 0. And there we go, guys, you got your first 4 marks. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay, that is the process. Write down, now the next question, guys. The next question is one of the most popular questions that you'll see in all, and this is completing the square. Write the function of f in the form y equals. So this is your turning point formula. A into x minus p all squared plus q. That is your turning point formula. We know the p value there is the x value of your turning point. But when you're plugging it in, you change the sign because the negative will change its sign. And q is the y value. The y value of your turning point. Now here we need to get it from here, to get it from there into there, we've got to complete the square. Now I've showed you a shortcut. There are many ways of completing the square. Obviously here on the ITV Math Show, we show you the shortest humanly possible ways to do it. Okay, so let's answer question number 2. I hope you know my method. If you don't, go back to the previous episodes. Right? For those of you who have purchased the DVD set, it's on the set. So go make sure that you are working with the website, the DVD, and our live production. Okay, so now let's go on to question number 2. Question number 2. Write it in the form. So what do we have? We got y is equal to minus 2x squared minus 4x plus 30. Okay, now, many ways of doing it. I'm going to show you my way of doing it. Right, let's do it again. We divide everything by 2. Watch here. So I'm going to have y over minus 2 is going to equal to x squared, because I'm dividing it by negative 2. Divide this by negative 2 plus 2x minus 15. Right? Don't worry about this. It's a different method. It's an alternate method of doing it. I'm doing it in a very clean and neat way. Instead of you writing, I know the methods that your teachers are showing you. They're showing you plus half times the coefficient of x all squared minus half times the coefficient of x all squared. Then expand it, then reduce it, and it ends up that big. Now we want to avoid that, guys. We want to do it in the shortest humanly possible way that we can do it. So stay tuned to the show. Focus. Right? Understand what I'm doing. I'm dividing by negative 2 because you want the coefficient of x squared to be 1. Now let's complete the square. So we got y over minus 2 is equal to, what is the process of completing the square? Right? What is the process of completing the square? Let's see. Do you remember? Right. Remember, if it was an equation, we said divide by 2 plus x squared. So what are we going to do now? We're going to divide by 2. Because we're working only on one side, we're going to divide by 2 minus x squared. So let's see if you can get the next step right. Okay, here goes. So now we say divide by 2 minus whatever x value you get there, squared. Divide by 2 minus x squared. Divide by 2 minus that x value squared. Remember that for completing the square, when we're rewriting it, divide by 2 minus x squared. If you were solving, grade 11s, if you were solving for x by completing the square, then you'll divide by 2 on the one side plus x squared, because now we're working on the opposite side of the equal to sign. Okay. I talk too much, huh? Shoo. Right, let's go back. Some of you might be saying, Mr. K, shut up. Your voice is ringing. And I heard this. Am I talking again too much? Okay, but let me just tell it to you. I had a workshop yesterday and they said, you know what, Mr. K, with your DVDs, with the workshop and the classes that we're getting and the website, while we are doing our problem, we are just hearing you scream in our head, do this, do that, do this, do that. And you know what? Guess what? That is the purpose of the show. So that when you are writing the exam, right, you are picturing this bald Indian with this big beard screaming in your ear and saying, hey, divide by 2 minus x squared when you are completing the square. Right, so let's go. So what do we have? X squared, x, plus 2 divided by 2, 1, squared, minus 15, minus. Now we take that value, that x value, and we square it. 1 squared is 1. Did you see that? Clean, neat, tidy, full stop. Right? Divide by 2. So open up the brackets. X squared, x, plus. Divide by 2. 2 over 2, 1 squared. Minus 15, minus that 1. That's the rule. Divide by 2, minus x squared. I'm going to give you another one after this. Remember, this is just the one that came out of the paper. I'm going to give you another one after this, and you're going to have to apply the method to make sure that you know it. So, y over minus 2 is equal to x plus 1 all squared minus 15 minus 1 minus 16. Right, that's obviously not our final answer. Why? They want y. They don't want y over 2. They want only y. So what do you think? How am I going to get rid of this negative 2 here at the bottom? Right, Mr. Cameraman, I hope you got this here. Y over minus 2. How do we get y here? We multiply by negative 2. And remember, we multiply. It's an equation. So your final answer, guys, see how neat and tidy it is? We now got y is equal to, times this by negative 2 will cancel out. So we're going to multiply that by negative 2 and multiply that by negative 2. So my final answer minus 2 into x plus 1 all squared. Negative 16 times negative 2 plus 32. And there we go. There we have rewritten the function y equals minus 2x squared minus 4x plus 30 in the form y equals a. So this is a, that's p, that's q. So basically, if they had to ask you what is the turning point of the graph, we know this is the x value of our turning point. That is the x value of your turning point, but you change the sign. That is the y value of your turning point, but you leave the sign. So if they had to ask you what is your turning point, you can now just take out your turning point of the graph and say plus 1 becomes minus 1 and plus 32 remains plus 32. So obviously we know now that that turning point there, not that they asked us, I'm just saying if they had to ask us, would be negative 1 on my x, which is correct, and plus 32, which is also correct. So we don't think we're right, we know we're right. Okay? That was the answer to question number 2. Now they tell you, determine whether 1 and 12 are the coordinates of C. Determine whether 1 and 12 are the coordinates of C. So now I'm going to leave you. We're cutting for an ad break, guys. We're cutting for an ad break. I hope you've got that one down. In fact, like I promised you before the ad break, before we get onto that question, let's give you one more to rewrite it in that form, in the same form, a into x minus b. Let's just see whether you can do this one, right? So I tell you y is equal to, let's make it interesting. Let's say 3x squared minus 5x plus 12. Right, I want you to rewrite this in the form y equals a into x minus p all squared plus q. It's worth 5 marks in the exam. Grade 11 and 12. Guys, you got 3 minutes. When we get back from the break, I'll sort you out. Guys, welcome back to the ITV Math Show. Hope you guys are having as much fun as we are having here in studio. And as I said, you know what? Before the break, you guys are probably sick of hearing my voice. I know at this point in time, you guys are doing so much of math that even when you go to sleep, you are being chased. You see in your dreams, you are being chased by third signs. You've been chased by X and you're chased by Y. And then you're actually asking yourself when you wake up in the morning, am I normal? Yes, it happens. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with you. If you are dreaming about math and you are having nightmares and you're being chased by all these signs, it's a good sign. It means you are connected. Right, let's get back to math. I promise you, at the end of the show, this show is gonna go macro ballistic. When we start doing all the hectic stuff, I promise you, just blame it on math. We'll lose our bonkers here in studio. The cameraman is just laughing, rolling on the floor because he doesn't know what's going on here. But you and I hope we are on the same page. Right. Get back to math, guys. Right. We know y is equal to 3x squared minus 5x plus 12. Use my method in the answer. Let's go. What did I say? Divide by 3, right? So we're going to take y is equal to 3x squared minus 5x plus 12. And we're going to divide everything by 3. We're copying and paste. You guys know the function on the computer. Huh? Copy and paste. So I show you a method. I give you another one. You copy and paste the method. The only thing that's going to change are your values. So, my dear friends, like we say in South Africa, my brothers from another mother, we divide by 3, so we're going to have y over 3 is equal to x squared minus 5 over 3x plus 12 divided by 3 is 4. Capiche? Comprehendo? Do you guys see it? It's exactly what we did in the previous one. Right, now we say rule. What's the rule, guys? What's the rule for completing the square? Divide by 2 minus x squared. So let's go. So we're going to say y over 3 is equal to x squared, x minus, same sign, minus 5 over 3 divided by 2. 5 over 3. Now if you still don't know, little babies, take out your calculator and say 5 over 3 divided by 2. And what do you get? 5 over 6. All squared. 5 over 3 divided by 2 is 5 over 6. Plus 4. There we go. Minus, now we're going to take 5 over 6 squared. Remember that x value in the bracket squared. So that gives me 25 over 36. So don't ask me, where did you get 25 over 36 from? 25 over 36, we take that value next to x and we square it. Now, the only difference between this one and the last one is this one we are working with fractions. So, get your calculators out, get your scientifics out, and plug it next to your work. So we got y over 3 is equal to x minus 5 over 6 all squared. Now we go to our calculator, Mr. Cameraman, zoom. We got 4, we go 4 minus fraction 25 over 36. Boom. We get 119 over 36 plus 119 over 36. Right? Where did I get that from? I added those last two values. Okay? Now, we need y. So our final answer, guys. We're going to multiply this by 3, multiply that by 3, multiply that by 3. My final answer, y is equal to 3 into x minus 5 over 6 squared. Now we got 119 over 36 times 3. Right? Remember, we multiplied that by 3, multiplied that by 3, and multiplied that by 3. Right? So there's the 3 there. Now 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 36. 12 times plus 119 over 12. And that's your final answer, a into x minus p all squared plus q. That's your a value, that's your p value, that is your q value. And there we go, guys. You'll get yourself 5 to 6 marks for rewriting your trinomial in completing the square form. Okay, that is the answer to that one. So now we're going to go into another one. And now let's see, they tell us a linear function. This one comes out of the IEB paper. So let's go, I'm tired of a little bit of diagrams. Let's go into a little bit of theory questions. Can I erase this? Let us erase the next question, also worth 4 to 5 marks in your exam, from an IEB paper. And they tell you that a linear function f satisfies the following. Question in the exam. A linear function f satisfies the following. FFG, following. Many times I write FFG and then I get a blog or I get a comment. Sir, can you please explain to me what's FFG? Guys, we are in grade 12. You know your abbreviations. The word following is not FLL. You guys do English. It's FFG, following. Right, following f of minus 2 is equal to 7 and f of 2 is equal to minus 1. Find the equation of f of minus 1, x, for 5 marks. Right? There we go. Let's put it down. This is a question that came out. A lot of theory here, a little bit of theory, no diagram, nothing. It's to do with calculation. So, a linear function f satisfies the following. F of negative 2 is equal to 7. F of 2 is equal to negative 1. Find the equation of f of minus 1. So, obviously, we first need to find the equation of f of x. Once we find f of x, then we're going to find f of minus 1. So now we know that this is x and that is y. And this is x and that is y. So my two pairs of coordinates is minus 2 and 7. That's my first coordinate. My other one is 2 and negative 1. We can call this one, if you want, x1, y1. And we call that one x2, y2. Right, just from the guys in the studio, how much time do we have left? Give me a time signal. 4 minutes left, guys. 4 minutes left. Definitely enough time to finish this one. So now we go into the formula. Y minus y1 is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 into x minus x1. That is the equation. Y equals mx plus c. One equation when two pairs of coordinates are given in order to determine the equation of the straight line. Many of you haven't seen this formula before, but now you know it. Right, so y minus y1, y minus 7 is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 minus 2 plus 2 into x minus x1 minus 2 plus 2. So y minus 7, Mr. Cameraman, I hope you're getting this. Minus 1 minus 7 minus 8 over 2 plus 2, 4 into x plus 2. Y minus 7 is equal to minus 8 over 4 minus 2 into x plus 2. Y minus 7 is equal to minus 2x minus 4. We're multiplying those two out. So your final answer here of f. Now this is of f, not of f of minus 1. Remember the question says find of f of minus 1. We're going to do that on that side. So y is equal to minus 2x minus 4 plus 7 plus 3. So y is equal to minus 2x plus 3. Okay, I know you guys might be hearing me sniffing and snuffing. It's just the allergies. So please just excuse it for today's show. Where are we? Right. We're losing our mind. That's where we are. That's where I can tell you. All right, let's go. So we've got f. We now want f of minus 1. So f of x is equal to minus 2x plus 3. Where did I get that from, guys? I got that from here. That was the equation of our straight line. We now need f of minus 1 and we've only got 1 minute left. Guys, let's go. So we now go y is equal to minus 2x plus 3. We want the inverse function f of minus 1. So obviously swap the x and y. So x is equal to minus 2y plus 3. Now make y the subject of the formula. So minus 2y is equal to x minus 3. Divide by minus 2, divide by minus 2. Y is equal to minus a half x, or minus x over minus 2. Negative divide by negative, positive 3 over 2. And that our final answer. They want it in the form f of minus 1, which is y. So now we go f of minus 1x is equal to minus a half x plus 3 over 2. And there we go, guys. We got ourselves 5 marks. Take this down. Hope you guys enjoyed today's show. I've got no time to make a little bit of chit-chat before we finish today's show. Stay tuned. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys again, same time, same place. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
الأمجاد قد عظمت فللأمجاد بانيها ومن يسعى إلى العليا سيدركها بما فيها ويبني مجده جذلا فروح الفذ يعليها ليصبح همة تروي عن العليا